So there's a hot new update on the People's Party shenanigans, folks. That's right. A new scoop on status coup just dropped. More like scoop. Status scoop. I don't know. But they got a scoop. So the People's Party, now let's recap here. So the People's Party, they did a couple podcasts, do some fundraising. They spent $20,000 on a logo that didn't even materialize, so they just wasted $20,000. Whoops. And recently it came out that Nick Brana, the chair, like the guy in charge of the People's Party, was had allegations of sexual harassment. Basically, he got into a relationship. That relationship ended, and he wouldn't leave the other person alone. Allegedly, right? So, here we have a new update where apparently now lawyers have become they're involved. So lawyers are involved in this whole deal, and again, this is, I just want to go. Let's assume Nick Brana is completely innocent. Let's assume he is entirely innocent. He didn't do anything wrong. He's a great guy. Lovely guy. He's so cool, right? This is not something a totally innocent guy, right, does. I'm just saying, right? Like, watch his, like, interview on the status coup, right? That's not something an innocent guy does, right? Like, okay. So status coup posted a pretty good thread here. News. MPP has told members that an outside lawyer named Chris Kruger is doing a comprehensive review of sexual harassment allegations against Nick Brana. SC obtained a Feb email where Kruger tells Brana's accuser she might face legal action if she doesn't respond to him that night. Okay, so this is what's crazy. This isn't a thing. There is not like, oh, respond to me immediately or you go to jail. Like, that's not a thing. Please be advised that I have been retained by the People's Party Board to represent the organization concerning the recent controversies which have arisen with the board and Mr. Nick Brana. We are interested in discussing possible resolution of these matters without having to resort to court action or other legal remedies. Please contact me or have your legal representative contact me to further discuss. In light of the circumstances, I need to hear from you this evening to avoid further damage to my client and potentially ensuing litigation. I need to hear from you this evening. Like, what if I'm taking a nap? What if I already... Wait, when was this sent? 6:10 p.m. I'm in bed by 6 o'clock. I'm old, right? Like, I don't know. I had too many glasses of wine. I'm in bed. It's 6 o'clock. You're going to sue me because I was sleeping early? What if I, like, work in the morning? Like, what if I work at 2 a.m. or something? This is my time to sleep. I'm not... What do you mean I need to respond to you? That's ridiculous. So, now again... This is apparently the day of the story breaking or something. And so this woman, you know, is under enough stress as it is, right? And then, like, it goes public in some capacity. And now, once again, I believe this woman is still anonymous at this point. But now, again, with legal action, it's just, you know, it's crazy. The Feb 22 email from Kruger to Brana's accuser suggesting legal action was on the same day status coup broke the story that Brana was under internal MPP investigation for alleged sexual harassment, and that multiple sources said the woman will be going public. Chris Kruger has been an MPP volunteer since 2019. So again, he's billed as an outside lawyer, but no, he's just doing this like pro bono voluntarily to help his like stupid ass party that he's obsessed with. And his 222 email to Brana's accuser, he has been retained by the People's Party Board to represent an organization and told her we're interested in discussing possible resolution. Kruger told the accuser she needed to respond that night to avoid further damage to my client in ensuing litigation. He said his client was MPP's board, yet the accuser was not accusing the board of sexual harassment. Right, again, so it's just, it gets even better. An internal MPP Slack message about Kruger being an outside lawyer doing a comprehensive review, it not disclosed that he was directly reaching out to Brana's accuser on the same day status coup story broke the allegations, suggesting potential legal action. So we, you know, blah blah blah. We have a lot to discuss after the events of the past few weeks. It is important that all of us on the board that an outside lawyer conduct a comprehensive review of the events and evidence surrounding the efforts to take the party in a different direction, the claims of sexual harassment rather. An investigation. The lawyer Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber this sounds like this is like a sitcom title. The lawyer Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. They all rhyme. The lawyer Kruger and Gruber. I'm sorry. This is a cartoon show. I can't. The lawyer Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber. I'm done. I can't. Okay. Has informed us that he will be finished tomorrow and can join the call. So again, an outside lawyer. The outside lawyer, Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber. I'm sorry, I can't. As volunteers, it's also important that all of us... Okay, so they bill him as an outside lawyer. But he's not. Kruger is actually an Illinois-based MPP volunteer and organizer. Here he is speaking at October 2019 MPP event. I'm with the Movement for Our People's Party.
Of the left. My name's Chris Kruger. I'm an attorney. Prior to being an attorney.
So yeah, here he is. 3 days after Mr. Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber. I can't with this shit, man. I can't with this shit. Okay. Emailed Brana's accuser to discuss possible remedies and suggested potential legal action if she didn't respond that night. He shared on his Facebook Brana's statement denying allegations and claiming they were part of a liberal takeover attempt. So, I mean, like, this is like when you got the Kyle Rittenhouse lawyers talking about how the Kenosha Kid is like the new 1776 or, you know, like they were like that. Like, you're not, like, you are getting so politically involved in a case that you're supposed to be like, you know, an impartial, like, you know, lawyer on. Like, it's just like, it's such a conflict of interest, right? This is like it reminds me of that. Kruger told Status Quo that his email to Brana's accuser on 2/22, hours after SC broke the story on allegations against Brana, was, quote, an offer to compromise a dispute and not a threat. Kruger, when, this is Chris Kruger again with Kruger and Gruber, when two persons or entities have controversies or disputes that could potentially result in litigation, it's not uncommon for one to contact the other through counsel to attempt to resolve the conflict or controversy. In fact, it is the way 99% of disputes are resolved. SC asked Kruger if he doesn't consider it a threat to reach out to Brana's accuser on the same day SC broke the story on allegations and provide her a short clock to respond or face potential ensuing litigation. What would he classify that as? He responded that he was currently on vacation and will stand on my earlier comments for the time being. Kruger told SC he is not representing Nick or Rod, that's Nick's father, Brana, and is representing MPP's board. When asked why he would be reaching out to the accuser suggesting legal action to avoid further damage to his client if his client is MPP's board, which was not accused, like, again, so Kruger and Gruber with Chris Kruger it's not going so well. Like, this whole thing is already falling apart. He answered with the same, I will stand on my earlier comments for the time being. He also offered that he would stand by his earlier comments when we asked how we could be both conducting an outside review while also representing MPP and communications with the accuser. So an outside review would be someone who is not biased. When you are like a huge fan of the chair and you love everything he does, and you're directly involved with your organization, you cannot be an outside lawyer. When SC asked Kruger if it is again, so Status Quo is asking Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber, if it is appropriate, MPP did not disclose his outreach to the accuser. He said, yes, I can attempt resolution of a dispute and examine the People's Party internal processes at the same time. Similarly, I can rub my tummy and pat my head at the same time. That is true. That is true. You can rub a tummy and pat your head at the same time. That is factual. But again, what Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber doesn't understand is that that's fine, but don't call yourself an outside lawyer, right? Like, okay, if you want to do that, what you're doing isn't necessarily the problem. The problem is that you're lying to people about being an outside looking in. You are an inside looking in, right, person. Nick Brana did not respond to Status Quo's request for comment and questions. So, Why would all of this be happening if Nick Brana's innocent? That's what I'm saying. So he might be innocent. It's very well possible that Nick Brana's an innocent guy and he did nothing wrong. But this is not the action that an innocent guy would typically take. I'm just saying. Threatening to sue someone within like 2 hours of them like saying something publicly in some capacity, that is not something an innocent person does. Just saying. And again, Chris Kruger with Kruger and Gruber. Again, the lawyer, Chris Kruger. I can't. I won't.